you're still here.
Yeah.
Hi. Yeah, I am.
You've been waiting for a week?
It's been
Yeah.
I thought you guys were coming right back.
That's great. No, we were not coming back.
We
No.
weren't, but I'm glad to see you're very dedicated.
Yes. A
Jeff
for effort.
Jeff wouldn't let me out of the room.
Oh.
The door was locked. I couldn't get out. The door was locked. I couldn't get
so
out.
you haven't ate or drank anything. So at least you know
I've-
you could
Did
survive a
you-
natural
do you have
disaster for a
anything?
week.
Yeah, I was
I've
gonna say,
been
like, you have to pack
eating-
in your backpack?
Yeah.
I've been
Did you come
eating
prepared?
paper this whole week. I'm so hungry, you guys.
I'm sorry you had to go through that. I really am.
Devastating.
Anyway, hey guys.
Hey.
How you
Hello.
been this past
Great.
week?
Yeah, it's been a jam-packed week. It's
Mhm.
like deja vu. I felt like I was just here.
Do you know what I really miss?
Me?
TV.
TV.
Oh, yeah, me too. Well, I like
And that's
TV.
funny that you said that because our episode is about reality TV. Is it scripted? Our favorite thing. I know it's our favorite thing. I love reality TV.
Oh my
I can talk
gosh.
about it
For hours.
for hours on end.
But we're not gonna do that to you because
No.
you'll probably be tortured because you
Yeah.
probably don't.
We're only
love
going to do it for like 15 minutes today.
Yeah.
At least 15. If more, you're more than welcome.
So you can get me out of here. I can
Are
go
we
to-
keeping you captive at this point? Like
The door was locked, Megan.
Yeah, you
I couldn't
could've-
get out.
You literally could have just opened the door. It's that simple.
It was locked. I couldn't get out.
You just saw us walk in.
It's fine.
It's
It's okay.
okay.
So, do you guys think reality TV is scripted? What do you think?
It's not scripted, but
Okay.
It has some
Producers
scripted
have-
It's-
elements.
Yeah, the way it's molded together.
yeah.
Yeah,
I would,
as we'll get into.
Mhm. I know when we thought of this idea, it's just like we have to do this.
We
This
have
is
to.
like one of our biggest passions. At
Yes,
least for
Big
this
Brother,
movie.
Survivor. Oh, it is. I love it. I'm Life Eater. I'm all into it.
I know. I had to tell him for weeks, do not tell me anything. I DVR'd it and I can't. And you spoiled it for me one
I
time.
know.
but
Steve for the win.
Woo woo. I mean Vanessa though.
I mean, oh yeah, great game.
Yeah, but I mean, with him winning that final HOH, he had to cut her.
Yeah.
Cut
Oh
off the
yeah.
head
It came down to that final HOH, and that's what was so fun and cool about it.
Mhm.
I mean, I was just sitting here, but I just like see Steve win because he's a super fan. So it's
Mhm.
like,
He's like another Ian Terry.
yeah, he no exactly.
He is Ian Terry.
I literally
Different
have
ways.
no idea what you're
Sorry.
talking
I'm
about.
sorry.
You're-
The only reality
You're lame.
shows I am. I don't know how doorknobs work.
You can't move.
The only reality shows I watched were Project Runway and Solitary.
Wow. And I actually have a little something about Project Runway.
I
later,
love
something,
so,
something.
Yeah.
Do it.
Oh, now okay, we're gonna get into it.
Yeah.
Well, as we were talking about, it's reality TV is not necessarily scripted. It's just the behind the scenes and everything.
The way it's
so,
produced.
like this guy said, when he was working on Project Runway this past year. He said one of the storylines that involves someone who had a big freak out. He said most of the freak out happens off the camera, and we come back to her and she's like crying and all that stuff. This is a direct quote.
No.
And we have a bunch of sound bites from her saying, like, no one's paying attention to me, everyone ignores me. We have no footage to back that up whatsoever, he says. We have nothing. So I'm looking in the sewing room, and there's a bit where a bunch of designers are chatting and having fun and all of that. And later on, in the same sewing room, she's sewing by herself at a different station. So he says, I strung it out as if they were laughing and having fun while she's there. And she looks forlorn. And then I threw a bit in saying no one talks to me and everyone ignores me, all this. So suddenly it sets up her freak out. So he patched it up as if they were in the same room, but she's in a completely different room.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes and says, he's like, my job is someone hands me a big giant bag of broken glass and I make mosaic. So
That's a good way
yeah,
of thinking about it.
it is.
Interesting.
So it's like, he's just thinking that whole time, how can I piece this together?
Right.
So it's interesting.
I agree.
Okay, so what would you two do if you were on a show like Project Runway? Not saying like it has to be fashion, but if you're on a competition sort of show
Okay.
where there's one winner, like
Uh-huh.
Project Runway, Survivor.
Big Brother, Survivor.
Big
yes.
Brother and Survivor would definitely be the two. I would
What
go for
about it? What would I do?
What would you do?
it.
Like, would you be Would
Would
you
it
be
be
the
the not-
darling who no one wants to see hurt? Would you be
No.
the
I don't think so. And unfortunately, I honestly.
Would you be the villain?
Would you be the villain?
I
The one the
don't-
producers keep around for ratings?
I don't necessarily think I'd be the villain. I'm just very real. I'm realistic.
Oh, so you
and-
would be perfect on The Real World.
That's actually really funny that you said that because
It's another one
they
I watched
actually
as a-
contacted me this year and asked me to audition. So I did, and I kept making the rounds. But I dropped. I was like, it's not for me. Like I just not
It wasn't real enough for you.
that show. I want to be on Big Brother, Survivor. I would do, but Big Brother is my number one thing. But that's really funny you said The Real World because I have the emails right here. I save them just because I think it's cool about the casting producers. Like I made it to the round where I meet the casting producers.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't go. I was on a trip, and I was like, my parents were like, you can go if you want and not go to the. But I was like, no, I want to go to the trip. It's really not for me. I want to save for Big Brother. But I would be that person. I always say I can keep what I say in, but my facial expressions, I'm just like, if someone's crazy, I'm just like, things like that. But I would probably be, because we talked about it. I went to the college I went to before, set up a Big Brother, and I ended up winning, and I backstab like everyone in the back. I make deals and I cut them, but I usually have that one person I'm loyal to, as I did. But everyone else, it's game on. Like I'm not there to. I'm there. I'd be there. It's a job. I'm there for money, and I don't care.
So you're a
Like,
Vanessa.
Who is Vanessa?
yeah, but I'm not gonna sit there. I'm not gonna sit there and not own the game.
She was so
Googling.
paranoid. She was
That's-
strategizing 24/7. And I
that's
think that was her downfall.
People like people that are real in the DR and that own their game. She didn't own it. She was always crying. I didn't,
She didn't own up her
I mean,
game. Jason put it
exactly.
very well. It's just like, okay, like you not.
Jason
not.
put it the best. I mean,
There's a reason why he was one of the top 3 for
Oh, yeah,
like
'cause-
favorite.
he was one that was real. I could see myself being a lot like he's very like just
Is this lady with the green hat?
yeah,
Yes.
that's Vanessa.
Well, teal.
Whatever.
Not in the fact Jason's gameplay. He'll admit it, it's pretty bad, but he's
Yeah.
just a very real. He's a realist.
He was too real.
He was too real, and that's the thing. You can't be too real in that house. And I wouldn't. I mean, I'd be like, I can be fake. Yeah, it's for $500,000. Come
Mm.
on.
I'd be kind of like a mixture of like the darlings, like, oh, she's so precious. She wouldn't think to do that, but in reality, like, I'm just calculating every
It's all
single
an
thing.
act.
Oh yeah, everything's calculated and planned. I'm just like,
But I'm sweet, but I think I'd also be the silent killer too. Not in literally, but just I would be able to build those relationships. But it's just like I would know how to separate from gameplay from personal play.
This is what I would do. This is what, because you never know. That game is
Exactly.
completely different in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And just like
no
when
one
you,
knows.
it messes with the psyche, especially when
You're
you're
cut
in there
off.
for like 98 days.
That's exactly what it's planned to do. It's a human experiment. I mean, that's what Big
Yeah.
Brother is, and that's why it's so
And
fascinating.
I mean, Survivor is great too, but it's only 39.
39 days exactly.
Only 39.
That's what I've always said. Survivor's $1 million,
Yeah.
and Big Brother's $500,000.
So which?
I feel like Big Brother should be $1 million too,
Because it's basically the
it's-
same thing. It's just a different environment.
because it's like, yeah, but like, yeah, you eat Big Brother, but you're also on slop, but you're also way cut off for 98 days, not 39. So I feel like they should both be $1 million. I don't know.
I agree, and they had to sleep in dentist chairs when they were the have-nots,
Mhm.
and it was cold too. They had I think it was like a couple seasons ago where it was just like the temps were turned down so low, and it was just like ice cubes or something like that, and I was just like,
I told my grandma, I was like, I would do Survivor, and she's like, please don't. I'd worry. I was like, I'd probably die out there. I was like, no sleep, no food. I'd probably die, but it's like, I would do it. I really would. I like to push myself
yeah.
to like the old. Like I like to see, what I can, I just like. I'm someone who likes to push myself, put myself in.
Survivor-wise, I would do the
scenarios.
best I can to like just trick my mind
Survive.
and my body, be like, hey, like this is a very unique situation. You're not gonna be in this type of situation again, so
Mhm.
just like do the best you can to survive. And if you end up getting out because of medical condition, well, that's just your fault. And
Mhm.
I honestly
Yeah,
probably would.
wuss.
Yeah, and because they mess with you, but I think it's important to remind yourself it's a once in a lifetime thing.
Exactly.
So
I've been watching season 1 of Big Brother and Survivor. Like I've watched it from the beginning.
yeah,
Yeah, like super fan. There we go.
How many
And-
seasons of those have there been?
31
31
for
and
Survivor
17.
for Big
Ooh.
Brother. They
Yeah.
started both in 2000.
They did, and Survivor does 2 seasons a year, one
Yeah.
in the spring and one in the fall. And
There's only been one time Big Brother did too, because
Yeah,
of
it
the
was in the
writer
winter.
strike.
Yeah.
And so you don't need writers. Really, for Big Brother, it plays itself
Well,
out.
that was one of the things that the writers were striking about
What's what?
was people involved in reality TV, should they be paid to be writers? That was one of the things that was anyway.
I got you.
Yeah.
I thought the main thing was basically the online streaming. I thought
Well,
that's
that was another reason, but I mean there were a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay.
Are we good?
Yeah.
So,
Just adding.
I've been observing these shows for a really long time now, and I've seen these themes, and it was something that was kind of unspoken. I'm like, okay, maybe this is just me really passionate about the shows, but in reality, this is a formula that the Writers Guild of America West, that they follow this specific formula, kind of what we were
Yeah.
alluding to earlier. According to David Rupel, he's one of the writers that kind of in charge of like all of reality TV. The first thing to realize is that the term unscripted is a fallacy. No, we don't write pages of dialogue, but we do create formats, cast people based on character traits,
Yes.
and
that's-
edit scenes to tell a powerful, intriguing tale. In short, we're storytellers, just like you. We just get to get there a little bit differently.
Mhm. And that's true. But that's why I love shows like Big Brother and Big Brother and Survivor, because they aren't scripted. They play themselves out. Like they have
Yeah.
characters. You have the villain. You have the people that people don't like. Like Austin and them. The majority of
Twins.
people don't like them. You have to have those people because it keeps you watching. And then you have the people you're rooting for, the underdog, the all the merit. That's
Yeah,
to be expected.
exactly. And just like unstringing like the story, like you were saying before, there has to be a hero, there has to be a villain, there has to be floaters. Ugh, I don't like
I know.
floaters.
And
But, yeah, explain to what like people that don't watch the TV, if they don't watch it,
Like me. What are floaters?
you're a
Floaters
Those
are
things
people
in the
that-
eye
No,
that just
floaters
float
in the
around?
house are people that float back and forth to people that are in power. They don't have one solid alliance.
So like in prison gangs.
Well, this took a morbid turn.
Or like Game of
But-
Thrones.
They don't make any solid game moves that defines their gameplay, in my opinion.
Oh,
They don't
so,
make
like,
any power moves.
I would do that. That would be me.
So, okay, you're not a floater. Congratulations.
But one
No,
thing,
I would be a floater. I wouldn't
Okay,
make
I
any
take that back
moves.
then. You're strict to that.
but one thing you hear about all the time when it comes to like shows like Big Brother and that, it's the edit. That my edit was bad. My edit was good. You sign up for. I mean, they have to develop a role around you. You're not. They can't go back and forth from your nice moments bad. It has to be kind of consistent. Yeah, they do show. Like you saw some good scenes with Austin, but a lot of his stuff was his Judas stuff.
He
And
didn't even come out
his-
as Judas that much.
I know in his just more
Eh.
douchier moments, I guess.
He was more of like, oh yeah, like I want to come in here as like this bad guy, and then he falls in love, and then he gets all soft. But yeah, again, a kind of a side note on that, he also has a master's in medieval
Yeah.
literature, romance. Yeah.
And then they also kind of, I feel like, edit. I don't know this for a fact, but I feel like they edit kind of off of the audience. Like there was a lot of talk in Twitter world and outside world about his girlfriend, so they put that in the show.
Yeah.
They zinged him with that. They did different things. They listen, they watch, and then they kind of go off of that.
Yeah.
It's a show. At the end of the day, it's an entertainment show. It's
But
a game show.
Also, I mean, haven't there been cases where like people are completely vilified in the press and that's all they're known for anymore? Like if somebody say wants to piggyback on this notoriety and maybe do something else, like go into news or something, that follows you.
Exactly, which is unfortunate. That's why I know me, I can set it aside. Like, it's a show, but there are people that latch onto it, and there are people that send their families, like, death threats and stuff, like, crazy stuff. And it's like, really? Like, appreciate the show.
Not the characters that they like. It's just a poor representation. Like you don't really know the person until you meet
Exactly.
them face to face.
But like you said, it
Their life
affects
is-
their outside life, and that's sad. Because it has it. I mean, I remember a girl, Rachel, went on season 12. When she came back on season 13, she was crying because she's like, I'm not going to find a job, but people end up loving her in season 13. I always liked Rachel, but because she's just outrageous and crazy, and I like those kind of people.
Well, agree to disagree on that one. She's too outrageous for me.
But There was a clip of her on 13, and she was crying. She's like, "I'm still not gonna find a job." She couldn't find a job when she got out at season 12 because she was hated in season 12.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's awful.
I know it's sad. It really is. But now she has a great job.
Okay.
She won season 13. So
Okay.
Just
She
so
had-
you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
But yeah, kind of that's like a great springboard in what I was gonna present to everyone. Rule number 1 of this formula that David Rupel introduced earlier. Number 1, the planned story versus the followed story. They're usually reality TV shows. They fall into 2 types of categories. And the first one, it's a show with like very little structure, and that's gonna be like The Real World and the Osbournes and all different other types of shows. And story editors throughout the day, they sit through days and sometimes weeks of footage to find compelling stories after the shooting has occurred. And it's just like you have to sit through all this footage and try to create this illusion of
Hey.
a
Make a good
storyline.
episode. Yeah.
I would do
And-
that. That'd be great. That would
Like,
be
I
a
could
great
do that.
job.
And like for example, like on The Real World, he actually used to be a part of it. Well, not an actual contestant, but like okay. Anyway, he usually shot about 6 days to generate a 30-minute episode.
Yeah.
So, and then the second one, the followed story, it's heavily, I'm emphasizing, heavily formatted, and like it's to the point where the events are eventually planned before shooting begins.
Wow.
Yeah, and examples of that are like Survivor, Amazing Race, Bachelor. Yeah.
Okay. See, that's gonna say that's why I think Big Brother is so fascinating because they edit
They
in a
edit
day.
so well.
in so quick. There's 3 episodes a week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And it's on Thursday. It's live, so
Yeah.
they have to go up to what? I mean, so they're. That's why I think it's impressive.
It is. I agree, and it's crazy.
And so they said Survivor is something that's very well, yeah, because the competitions. I mean,
Mhm.
what's gonna happen is not planned out, but the setup is because you have your strategic talk, your competitions, all that. So
And it's
yeah.
gonna evoke universal emotions. So
Mhm.
there you go.
I wouldn't
So-
put it in the same category as
Okay.
The Bachelor though. 'Cause I
But
feel
that's
like
what he
that,
said.
Okay.
I'm just repeating what he said.
Well, I mean, on The Bachelor,
Yeah,
they go on
that's
those
true.
dates, don't they? And
I
then the
feel-
producers are like, hey, we want you to pick this person.
So we're gonna go to rule number 2. It is less is definitely more. It's basically as someone who has literally watched tens of thousands of hours of raw footage, nobody is interesting all the time, and I completely agree with that. And it's just like you're getting this plethora of footage, and it's just you have to go through all that, edit through all that footage, and make a storyline out of it. The only and like from the editor's point of view, like you have to find those key moments. Like you have to sit through it and just be patient about it.
What if I'm on a reality show? You guys are actors.
Maybe.
Never know.
Never know.
Rule number
Okay.
3, the rules of storytelling don't change. And it's just, again, it's coming back full circle like what we were talking about. Storytelling, it's a really big factor in these type of shows. And real people don't live their lives in carefully packaged scenes. Nobody wakes up, announced a topic for the day, has meaningful discussions throughout the day about that topic, and then had a tidy wrap-up talk before they go to bed. Like, the producers, they have to find creative ways to fill in the missing gaps of the stories. Just like scripted television, writing and producing go hand in hand. The majority of my reality credits are from producing, but not writing, but I'm always using my skills as a storyteller. And the only difference is that the characters in reality TV aren't being played by actors. Well, a lot of wannabe actors, but that's a whole different story in itself.
Are you a wannabe actor, Taylor?
Yes. No.
Yeah.
I mean, I always kind of wondered that because when I would like see the interviews on Survivor and the diary rooms and Big Brother, it's just like it's too. It sounds scripted to me a little bit because like their tone of voices, the inflection in
Also,
their
they're
voice.
Wearing the same clothes.
Well,
I mean,
not that
they're-
so much.
Yeah.
It's just more the inflections of their
Sometimes,
voice.
yeah, sometimes there are, but that you know the real ones from
Yeah.
the scripted ones. You can tell. You can just
Mhm.
feel it.
You just get that
You
vibe.
can feel it
Yeah,
The vibes.
vibes.
right here.
Vibes.
But and another thing, I've come across a list of some of the scripted shows that we all watch, and I was kind of shocked by some of them that were on there. But you have your ones that are like The Bachelor,
Mhm.
Kardashians, Jersey Shore, and The Real Housewives. All that. I love The Real Housewives. Anyways, but the one that in the real world, and some of the ones that shocked me though were like The Voice, The Amazing Race,
I can
Breaking Amish,
Okay. Yeah.
and Dancing with the Stars,
Eh.
and Cake Boss even was scripted. And I
How
was
can
like,
you
how do
script
you-
cakes? Come on.
know.
I need you to topple over that cake to add drama.
Yeah, I need you to drop the cake.
That's pretty much all we have for today in terms of reality TV. If you have any conspiracies that you want us to cover, go ahead and check us out at ucentralmedia.com or hit us up on Twitter. And the hashtag for that
It's hashtag Conspiracy Weekly.
And if you didn't get it last episode,
Here's my Twitter.
Twitter.
Be my friend.
we have a low budget, so
Also,
Yeah, we have it
I
on note
can
cards.
help you survive an apocalypse. Also, if you're on a reality show, I can't help you, but he can. This guy.
You're like, I'm just here. Alright, well, that's enough for today. I will see you next time. I'm Megan Thomas.
And I'm Taylor Varner.
And I'm Rebecca Parks.
Thank you for watching.
This has been an episode of Conspiracy Weekly.